Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to everyone. So today we will be presenting our title Breaking the Mold Challenging Gender Stereotypes in Modern Society. Gender stereotypes have long been a never-ending issue that frustrates everyone because these biases restrict one's capacity to explore the world without taking society's opinion into consideration. And opportunities, responsibilities, career path, gender roles are basically mostly are categorized by their gender. And our essay today aims to dismantle the stigmas that persist in the society, particularly those that reinforce unequal expectations and perpetuate harmful assumptions about both men and women. To begin, it is deeply concerning that sexual harassment cases in Malaysia have been rising sharply, and these incidents are not limited to one setting. They occur in public transports, schools, workplaces, and even online spaces, showing that harassment is part of everyday life for many women. However, beyond the statistics, what is more troubling is the stigma surrounding these incidents, which shapes how society interprets safety and responsibility. The first stigma is conditional safety, where women are made to feel like their protection depends on their own behavior, such as how they dress or where they go. This creates the harmful idea that safety is something women must earn rather than a basic right. The second is victim blaming, where attention is shifted away from the offender and placed on the victim, with questions like, what was she wearing or why was she out late, instead of focusing on the act of a harassment itself. The third stigma is the expectation that women must self-restrict their lives to avoid harm, which limits their freedom and reinforces fear in everyday activities such as traveling, studying, or even working. The fourth is the belief that modesty prevents harassment, which is right, but somehow wrongly suggests that a woman's clothing is responsible for another person's behavior, even though harassment is rooted in the offender's action, not the victim's appearance. And lastly, there is the normalization of male misconduct through phrases like boys will be boys, which excuses inappropriate behavior and reduces accountability, making it seem as though such actions are natural or unavoidable. These stigmas are harmful because they shift responsibility away from perpetrators and place it on victims, creating a culture where harassment is tolerated and survivors are silenced. Therefore, addressing this issue requires not only stronger enforcement but also a change in mindset. As for the solution, we need a shift in mindset. Society must truly practice the idea of protect your daughter and educate your son. This means we stop blaming women for what happens to them and start holding individuals accountable for their actions. Safety should not depend on what a woman wears or where she goes only, because it is a basic right. At the same time, responsibility must be shared. Women can take precautions, but men must be educated to respect boundaries, practice self-control, and reject harmful behaviors. Most importantly, we need to unlearn toxic norms like victim blaming and normalizing misconduct. Only then we can create a society where safety is not conditional but equal for everyone.
Next, gender stigma in the workplace. Now, imagine this. A woman shares a great idea in a meeting, but it gets ignored. Minutes later, a man repeats the same idea and suddenly it gets praised. And this situation may sound surprising, but it actually happens more often than we think. Today, I will be discussing a common gender stigma in the workplace, the belief that men should be leaders while women only be followers. So, in many organizations, leadership is still strongly associated with men. Men are often seen as more decisive, strong, and suitable for leadership roles. But because of this perception, they are more likely to be chosen for promotion and decision making position. So, on the other hand, women are often expected to be polite, supportive, and obedient. While these qualities are important, they are rarely recognized as leadership traits. So this bias also appears in everyday workplace interaction. For example, women's ideas may be interrupted or completely ignored, while men's ideas are more likely to be acknowledged quickly. So there is also a clear double standard, whereas when men are assertive, they are seen as confident leaders. But when women do the same, they may be labeled as aggressive or difficult. This gender stigma has significant impacts on the workplace. So it limits women's opportunities for career advancement and reinforces the idea that leadership will only be for men. So this creates an unequal and biased work environment. At the same time, men also feel a little bit pressured to be always taking the leadership roles, even if it does not match their interests or their strength. To address these issues, organizations need to improve and promote equal opportunities for both gender for leadership and create a more inclusive workplace culture. So they should also provide fair mentoring and support system, and most importantly focus on individual skills and abilities rather than their gender. So overall, breaking this stereotype is very essential to building a fair and inclusive workplace where everyone has the opportunity to succeed based on their talent, not on their gender.
The next one is media and gender. Media and popular culture play a powerful role in shaping how we understand gender roles and identity. From a young age, individuals are constantly exposed to films, advertisements, television programs, and social media, which influence our perceptions of what is considered normal and acceptable. In many cases, media reinforces traditional gender stereotypes. Men are often portrayed as strong, dominant, and emotionally restrained, or what I like to call unavailable, while women are depicted as nurturing, passive, and valued mainly for their appearance. Additionally, men are frequently shown in positions of power, whereas women are placed in subordinate or objectified roles. According to Letzipo and colleagues in 2024, these repeated portrayals do not just reflect society, but actively reinforces these stereotypes. Next, effects on individuals. So these stereotypes, they can have significant effects on individuals, particularly in shaping their behavior and self-perception. For example, men, they may feel discouraged from expressing emotions or engaging in activities that are seen as feminine due to fear of being judged. On the other hand, the ladies may feel pressured to meet unrealistic beauty standards and may avoid pursuing careers in male dominated fields such as science and technology. And as a result, individuals may experience low self esteem and limited career aspirations. Research by Santonicolo and others in 2023 highlights that exposure to stereotypical and objectifying media can negatively impact self-image and personal development, especially among young people. Furthermore, social media also intensifies these pressures by constantly promoting idealized versions of masculinity and femininity, making it harder for individuals to develop their authentic identity. Now is the impact. Beyond individual effects, media also plays a major role in shaping broader societal norms and expectations. It continuously reinforces ideas about how men and women should behave, which influences public attitudes. According to Akhtar in 2025, media contributes significantly to maintaining and reproducing gender stereotypes in society. As a result, individuals who do not conform to these expectations may face criticism, discrimination, or even societal exclusion. Media does not only reflect gender stereotypes, but actively reinforces them. Therefore, it is important for society to be more aware of media influence and to promote more balanced representations of gender.
To conclude, media and popular culture play a powerful role in shaping how we understand gender. Through repeated portrayals, men are often shown as dominant and strong, while women are expected to be passive and appearance focused. So these stereotypes do more than entertain. They influence how individuals see themselves and others. They also can limit self expression, create unrealistic expectation, and even lead to judgment or inclusion for those who don't conform. So that's why change is very important. We need more diverse and realistic representation. And as audience, we must learn to question what we see. Now, because at the end of the day, society should not tell us who to be, but instead, we should have the freedom to define ourselves beyond these stereotypes. That is all from our group. Thank you.